Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Lily, and I just thought of a funny story and I wanted to share it with you guys because maybe some can learn from it and some have been through it. And if you have had the same experience, please let me know in the comments. Once upon a time when I was still in Zimbabwe, my mom had sent me and my cousin on errands in town, and when we were done with the errands, as we were on our way back to board the taxis, we saw a lottery place by by the footbridge, under the footbridge by Jonah City. By that time the taxis were going for 50 cents and we had like $1.50 left, and then we're like, what if we just use this 50 cents and buy a scratch card? We might win something. But then we brushed it off because we were like, it's a scam, it's a scam, it's a scam. But as we were just about to pass the place, a guy was outside and he was like jumping in joy. Yo, I just won, like, I don't know, over triple of the amount of the scratch card he had bought. I think he had bought like a $5 and got something like, I don't know, but he was just happy like that he managed to get to win something. So he then started convincing us, you guys, you must try it. This is not a scam. I used to think it's a scam. Like, he was just so all over us to an extent that, like, he was like, in a way, convincing us to go inside to an extent that we felt like we were hypnotized. And then we went inside and we bought a scratch card for 50 cents and we got $1, and we're like, we're able to double our money. Now why don't we buy one for $2? And boom, we got $5. And then we're like, interesting, we've been so lucky. So how about we buy another one for $5? For $5 we might be lucky as well. And I don't know, like, I might be getting the amounts wrong because it's been a long time, but we just kept on gambling. So we then realized, oh shoot, we just gambled all our transport money and we are stranded in town. And African mothers, you can't just be calling and telling them silly stories like that. So we're like, we got ourselves in this monkey business, so we have to get ourselves out of this. And tell you what, that guy who convinced us to go inside the shop, I think it's actually his job, because even after we left, he was still there and approaching people just like how he approached us. And yeah, there was some funny business going on. So my cousin was like, there's no way we're gonna call your mom. Let's call my, let's say, abusive boyfriend to come and pick us up. And then he was like, you lying. Like, he was like, so she called him and he was like, I just took my car for service and I can't come pick you. And then she was like, okay, maybe you can like send me money and I'll give it back, stuff like that. And he started shouting at her. I was like, what is this? You're trying to be funny, you are up to something, I'm gonna come there. Now imagine you're waiting from someone who's 20 kilometers away to board a taxi, and you know how slow public transport is, to board a taxi and come to town and pick us up just because he didn't want to send the money. And then guy arrived and he was like, you're with your little cousin. I thought you were alone. You should have told me that you're with this cousin sister of yours. I don't like this thing. That guy was like, I don't like this, and I don't want to be working with kids, stuff like that. And then we went to the taxis, and I kid you not, guy said him and my cousin were gonna sit on the seats and I had to sit on the engine. If you're from Harare, like a gariswa pakadoma. We call it pakadoma just because you didn't want to pay the full price for me. And you know how hot it would be sitting there and you're facing everyone. Sure. Then I was just sitting there and you just give me nasty eyes. Like, I low-key think maybe he wanted her to be alone. I don't know the reason. He was just being arrogant and all that. And then when we got off, he still had this thing of, I don't want to walk with children. I don't want to walk with kids. Nah, me. He was like, I don't want to walk with kids, so she can be walking at the back. And I was walking at the back, and if I'm left behind like a lot, he was like so controlling, like I'm your savior right now. So if I say jump, you're gonna say how high. And then she was just walking with him in front, and I had to walk behind them. And then if I'm like left behind like a whole lot, he would he would then shout and say, hey, walk fast. And then I walk fast, and he tells me you should walk in front of us. And then I walk in front of them, and when they catch up to me, it's like, I told you I don't want to be walking with kids. And then and then they have to pass me. And story of my life. And I just couldn't wait for us to get home. And for some reason it felt like we're his prisoners, because he was like, I had the taxi money, so until you get home you gotta be doing what I want. And it was something else. And when we got home, my mother was so furious, because we took a very long time than she had expected us to take. So I just want to tell you guys that don't fall for those things like scratch and wins and what. Like, gambling is not good at all. Since that day, child, you'll never see me participating in those things, because like it might seem like it wasn't that deep, but in the moment, that feeling of being stranded, and because at some time, I remember at some point we decided to call my mom, and she wasn't reachable, and we just felt stuck in town. Don't gamble, guys. Don't gamble. Don't gamble. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Bye.